say hello to South African MMA and the man that is flying the flag for the country when it comes to that sport. South Africa's UFC star Don Madge is on a 6-fight winning streak and recently won his September fight in Dubai on the same night that Khabib Nurmagomedov, the UFC Lightweight champion, extended his undefeated run. They call Don Magicman, and he aims to become the first UFC champion from the continent. Many of those that follow the sport closely say he is one in the making. His trainer, Richard Quan of Fight Fit Militia MMA Gym, together with Don, join us this morning. A very good morning and welcome to the both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so Don, can you explain to us a little bit about your background and how you've come to now represent South Africa and fly the South African flag on this prestigious stage?
Well, I've been in martial arts my whole life since I was that big, and it's pretty much just been one step after another. And when I was 14 years old, I started Muay Thai, which is like kickboxing basically. And after living in Thailand and coming back, MMA had exploded on the scene in South Africa. So I thought, you know, well, let's challenge myself in a new way, and the rest is history.
I believe it wasn't quite as simple as just going to Thailand and taking part in, you know, some training sessions at a Muay Thai gym, though.
No, I mean, like I had to live like a Thai boxer, basically. You know, for the first I think 6 months that I was in Thailand, I was sleeping in a ring under a mosquito net. So it was tough, but I think it molded me into who I am today as an athlete.
Richard, you have been around mixed martial arts and for many years, and you've really helped to lay a great foundation here in South Africa. What does it actually take to compete on the UFC stage?
To compete at the highest level in any sport, consistency is key. You know, the determination of the athlete is also plays a big part, and Don has both of that, and that's why he's representing our country in the biggest MMA platform in the world.
Can you help people that maybe don't follow mixed martial arts all the time to understand just how prestigious UFC actually is?
UFC is basically the Olympics of mixed martial arts. It's the highest platform you can actually ever get in our sport. And Don is a very few athletes out there that is actually representing our sport, especially in Africa, since our sport is not greatly massive right here yet. Don is one of the only guys that is on the actual winning streak and putting the country on the map overseas in the US and Europe right now.
You are in an incredibly competitive weight category, the lightweight category. I mentioned Nurmagomedov and the fact that you actually fought on the same night that he did and extended his undefeated run. It's also the category where I think a lot of people around the world that maybe are not following MMA every single week, they recognize the names in Conor McGregor, in Khabib. How difficult is it for you to be in this weight category?
You know, like you said, it's the most competitive weight category in the world, not just in the UFC. You know, I think that's what makes being in the UFC for myself that much more special. The fact that I could break it into the hardest division in the world. And coming from South Africa, where MMA isn't that greatly known, you know, we're more known for our rugby and our soccer and cricket. But for MMA, for us to break into the UFC was a big achievement for myself. So you know, I believe I belong there, and I believe I will be champion in the next 2 years.
In the next 2 years, is that the timeline that you've given yourself?
100%.
Okay, so how does it actually work then? When can you actually fight for a world title?
Well, you have to get on to probably about a 5-fight winning streak in the UFC. I'm on 2 at the moment, so you know, trying to keep the momentum going, and then hopefully we'll be looking at a new champion by the end of 2021. 2021,
will he be able to do it?
100%. You know, consistency is key, and that's Don's biggest achievement. You know, he's got the heart, he's got the knowledge. He's got the fight IQ for competing in the UFC, and he's actually proved himself. He's 2-0 in the UFC right now. No one has done that in the whole of Africa, never mind South Africa.
Okay, so you have a lot of confidence in what makes him such a good fighter. You speak about fight intelligence. Many people just see somebody getting into a ring and going all out.
Yeah, it's nothing new to him. You know, he's been doing this his whole life. He's traveled the world. He's been everywhere and competed with the individuals that are in the UFC at the top 10, top 5, you know, and he's got the fight IQ. He knows how to win. Winning is the key, and it's not just about putting on a performance. He knows how to win the fight. At the end of the fight, his hand must get raised, and Don has been doing that.
Don, many people that maybe just come across mixed martial arts for the very first time, they'll say, well, it's just because you're an angry person, you get in the ring and you just have a place to let out your frustration. Is that actually what it's about?
No, not at all. I mean, of course, it's a good release, and it's a good sort of avenue to focus if you are that way inclined, a good way to sort of focus your aggression or your energy. But no, I mean, most people that get into mixed martial arts now are like just exceptional athletes that are very competitive, and they see another way to challenge themselves, especially in a sport like this where it's one-on-one, because everything comes down to how you perform, not based on a team. So, you know, if you play in a team of 15, you could have a bad day, but you could still win the match. In MMA, if you have a bad day, you lose. So it's a very competition-driven sport. So I think that's what attracts a lot of people to MMA.
And I see on your social media that you actually have some self-defense classes that you give to women, or you had something along those lines. Just tell us about that.
Yeah, so when I was in Abu Dhabi now for my last fight, I was, you know, keeping up with the news and stuff about what was happening, especially in Cape Town, with all the kidnapping and all the problems that we've been having with violence towards women. So I thought I would take it upon myself to offer a free women's self-defense class to just, I mean, no one's going to learn anything in one class, but at least just to give women some sort of confidence and hope to feel a little bit safer out there.
I know that a lot of the men in our studio were very excited that the both of you were going to come in. Perhaps what your message is to men, because gender-based violence has certainly reached epic proportions in the last year here in South Africa. Your message to the men in South Africa.
You know, I think as a man in South Africa, it's our responsibility to take this whole situation that we're dealing with as a warning. As you know, if we don't protect our women, if we don't keep our women safe in this country, then we have no future. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs, and I think that every single man should be taking it upon himself to make sure that gender-based violence it's not a thing anymore.
Richard, last year, Dana White, the president of UFC, said that the organization was worth $7 billion US. Now, it's unverified, but certainly it's one of the biggest growing sports. Where does South Africa rank? Because you said that it's not quite as big as in the rest of the world, but certainly there's some great momentum behind it in the country.
Yes, definitely. You know, our local scene's very popular now. We've got guys, well, basically Don heading mixed martial arts overseas, and the UFC has to come to Africa. It's the last place. It's in the US, it's in South America, it's in Europe, it's in Asia. The last continent it has to hit is Africa, and specifically South Africa, and that's where Don Madge comes in. He will bring it to this country in the next 2 years.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much. Well, he's no stranger to pressure, it seems. You or him flying the flag for the sport in the country. Thank you so much. That's Richie Quan and Don Madge coming into the studio chatting to us about UFC. We look forward to perhaps saying we've got a UFC world champion in 2021, right? Okay, all right, that's the goal.
Thank you.
Time now for us to take a break. Do stay with Morning Live. We'll be back after this.